Who doesn't love a good grenade launcher? The grenade launcher is a very iconic weapon throughout pop culture, including in movies and games. And the reason why is because it has great shock and awe value. From my childhood, when I first saw Terminator Judgment Day, and Arnold's walk around with a grenade launcher just popping smoke shells at people, I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. Now, when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of GoldenEye on the N64, and one of my favorite things to do was to do a PvP match in the temple with grenade launchers. There was something about firing a grenade and listening to it bounce off the wall several times and then land directly on your target. There was nothing more satisfying than that. So when Zendao Toys reached out to us and said, hey, would you like to review something? We took a look at their catalog and we said, no way, you have an M32? Oh, I've been trying to get something like this for a while. In full disclosure, you can get these as an airsoft thing, and they're usually really expensive. It's just a cool platform. Now this right here is modeled off of a real military, M32. So in this video, we're gonna check this thing out. I have some really exciting things I'm gonna do to this, and I've just been waiting to get my hands on one, so let's jump right into the video. So a little bit about the blaster. This is a pump action springer. So yes, there is spring power in this thing. On the side of the blaster, we have this little lever here. You basically pull that down and you're able to eject shells. These shells are 40 millimeter, so you can do a lot with these. In fact, the community has already been designing different shells to shoot all different kinds of things. This is great. Indexing this thing and priming it is done in the front like this. As you can see, very smooth operation. On the back here, we have a buffer tube stock that just kind of has like a pseudo in-strike attachment point, a little smaller one. And then of course, yes, we have multi-position on this. Comes with a fancy little sight, which really just adds to the aesthetics of this thing. A generous amount of Picatinny all over it. Got a couple sling points. And yeah, this blaster is pretty much one for one of the actual M32. Now I know what you're all probably asking. How does it perform? Well, I'm not gonna say it's horrible, but I'm not gonna say it's great.
We want to throw a special shout out to Out of Darts, a special thank you to them for providing the darts we're using in this testing. Today we're going to be using Worker Gen 3 high-end darts. We're going to attempt to chronograph this. 42, 36, 32, 46, 41.
As you can see, this blaster right here is more in line with a 3-dart shotgun out of the box. As you can see, these shells here hold 3 darts and has an average range of 30 feet. Now, as far as a Nerf blaster is concerned, that's all right because it is shotgunning 3 full-length darts. What I'm excited about is it opens up a lot of possibilities with, different shells. For instance, Mega XL. Now this is a cut down Mega XL to fit inside the shell, because as you can see, there's not enough room for it to push outside of the drum. Now keep in mind, this shell does not come with the blaster. I will put a link in the description as to where you can pick these up. But it's very cool to see that you can now increase the capability of this blaster. So in its current stock state, I would say it is usable. However, for my liking, I want this thing to shoot a little bit harder. Now, before you all run to the comments section and tell me how this actually technically isn't a grenade launcher, yes, I know you cannot actually throw hard plastic shells that explode on impact in Nerf events. They're just not allowed, I'm sorry. But it does allow for a very cool looking shotgun blaster that allows you to shoot all different ammo types. But that's perfectly fine because if you watch this channel, you know I love shotguns and I love shells. And I'm also a big fan of the 40 millimeter shell because of all the different ammo types you can put in there. I mean, just on this shell pack alone, we got Mega XL, we got short darts, long darts, you got rival rounds, and of course you can always throw 50 caliber foam balls in. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the performance. I know a lot of you out there want to see this thing shoot like 100 feet, because we all do. We all want to see a grenade launching looking thing just absolutely lob projectiles, especially the Mega XL. Like that Mega XL needs to be lobbed like 100 feet, So I have an idea how to make this happen. Let's head on over to the bench. Here we are at the bench. I gotta show you my idea to see what you all think. Okay, so this right here is a digital air compressor for your car, right? It's got this really cool little gauge on it, a whole pump, and guess what? This system runs off 12 volt. So I was like, well, I have a LiPo, which this is a 3S LiPo, which pretty much is 12 volt. So I just wired the connection directly in. By the way, this is DC. All right, so here we go. Now, the cool thing about this is I have it set, so you turn it on. I have it preset to 50 PSI. So if you hit the button once, It is just pressurize this tank, and this is a Titan tank, by the way. And for clarification, this is a Titan. It's this big old rocket launcher from a very long time ago, but there's a really good tank in here. Tank is pressurized. To relieve the pressure, you just pull it back. Pretty cool. Let me show you though. For testing purposes, we're just gonna use some duct tape here. And we got a Mega XL. Let's slap that on the front, throw some tape on there. Doesn't have to be perfect, we're just checking to see if the idea works. I know we're getting a little excessive, but I had to throw a couple zip ties on here just to make sure this doesn't slip off. So there's one, and then we'll throw one up here. Done. And actually, this is our blaster. Like, you could just run this, and you're good to go. I mean, it's a little jank, but you could mount it on something. Let's pressurize it, and this is 50 PSI. Let's see if it fires. Holy crap, almost hit my TV in the back. All right, and that was just 50 PSI. These things are rated up to about 90 PSI for safe operation. I would probably recommend running around 60 PSI, 50 seems to be fine. And it also depends on what you're firing, because some stuff just gets too crazy when you put too much power behind it. You might be asking yourself, how do we fit that into that? Well, I have a couple ideas. First off, I'm probably gonna end up cannibalizing a Titan because this trigger system is already set up to release air pressure for the Titan tank. So this section here, I'm probably gonna keep, right? And then cut here, maybe save this part because I do like this little screen. Maybe we can put this screen on here, which would be pretty cool. So that's one part of it. The next part is the Firefly. Now the Firefly, I just love the stock on this thing. It has just a real big, aggressive sci-fi look to it. And I feel like incorporating this stock back here will really make this look more like a sci-fi blaster, which I'm all about. What will happen is we'll probably end up cutting this because we're keeping the Titan grip. So we'll keep all this back section. In the meantime, preserving this switch here. The trigger can go away because it's going to be that trigger. So very ambitious project. There's one last part that I want to show you just to get your feedback, but not necessarily I'm going to do this because these are a little bit hard to find these days, but here we have a trilogy. Now something I like about the trilogy is the front. It just has a big chonky, kind of looks like it belches out a bunch of shrapnel and trash at you, or maybe launches grenade shells or whatever. It just has a real good look to it. So I kind of would like to utilize the pump action with this front barrel in the front of this blaster, because up here, this is very much real steel, and I kind of want to get away from this. You know, I don't necessarily want it to look so like real steel. But yeah, that's kind of where my headspace is. And just so you know, this could all change. I could just be like, yeah, I don't want to do any of this. It really depends on all of you, and because I do read all your comments and they do motivate me to do projects like this. So let me know. Well, I'm DrFlux. I want to thank you for watching today's video. As always, be safe and happy foam flinging.